so we are back to American Horror Story. Sorry I keep taking all these like pauses there. It's because I actually have watched up to up to episode 10, I believe. I have one episode left and I'm saving it because I don't want to know what happens in the end and then be biased in these reviews. So these next few reviews might be a little biased because I know what's going on. However, we're going to focus our attention on episode 8. This episode is called The 10 Commandments Killer, and in it we discover who the killer is, which I'm pretty sure 99% of us could have called it. If you haven't seen it, don't know what's happening, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's really not that much of a spoiler because as soon as you start the season you kind of know who it's going to be. Alas, the detective is the 10 Commandments killer. They tried to point us in so many different directions that it became so obvious that it was him because they never pointed the finger at him. They never implied that it could be him. It's just he was involved in this killer, hunting him down and dealing with the victims and all that kind of stuff. But it was a total letdown, and I think they actually meant, it was kind of embarrassing, I think, for them because they made it this huge reveal in this whole episode, and I was like, no. So it's a little bit cheesy, a little, I don't know. The whole episode revolves around all his flashbacks, and I guess he forgot all this stuff that happened. The fact he killed people, the fact he befriended March. He just doesn't remember any of it, which is very convenient because he's supposed to be the killer and that's supposed to be the big surprise, which, you know, it would have been so much cooler if they made it someone else. Anyone else. I would take his frickin' son. Like, anybody but him. We do find out in the episode that March actually orders the Countess to kidnap his son, so he starts to, you know, lose it a little bit. I love the concept of this storyline. However, it has been done in the movie 7, which isn't necessarily the same because this show is 10 Commandments. The movie 7 is the 7 Deadly Sins, and it's a serial killer who is murdering those in the style of The Sin. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you really need to watch it. It's kind of more of an action thriller, but a little bit of gore here and there, which made it disturbing for me, so that's my mini review there. I did like the ending, however, when he killed his partner and he's like, thou shalt not covet another man's wife or whatever the commandment is, and then kills him. That was pretty intense, but other than that, this whole episode was just a little bit blah. I think the storyline's a little bit boring now. I mean, I've watched the next few episodes, as you guys know, and they do jump around stories, but now it's like, how are they gonna go from here? Because they revealed it. He still has 2 more sins. See, I'm getting confused. That's the problem. 2 more commandments to complete, and there's not a lot of season left, so I guess it'll be intense with him getting those body parts and collecting his victims for the commandments. But at the same time, we now know who it is, which before, even though I knew that it was gonna be him, there was a part of me that was hoping, because it's American Horror Story, it's really good. Usually they'll have some kind of big thing or, I don't know, just something interesting happening, and it didn't end up being that way. I was just crossing my fingers the whole time that it was someone else, but yeah. It's really hard to know what to talk about in this episode review because I know the next 2 episodes what happens, and it's really hard not to talk about those right now, so gotta film the other reviews too, but I wanted to keep it episodic and keep them separate just for future reference. People in the future watching this, you know, that they can watch it in sequential order of each episode and not just a collective video. But that's all I really have to say about this episode. It was a little bit disappointing. I thought it was cool to see the flashbacks, but at the same time it's like, how did he not remember this? Yeah, have amnesia all of a sudden? Or I will say that it starts to pick up, but I'm gonna have to wait and see my thoughts on those episodes soon. I will just say this statement though. This has not been my favorite season. I like it a little bit more than Freak Show, but less than Coven. It still, for me, goes 2, 1, 3 season-wise, and then 2, 1, 3, 5, 4. I still think my cat is trying to get in the cabinet in the bathroom. Skibble! Just ignore that noise. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts if you knew that John was the 10 Commandments killer or if it was a letdown for you. I think it was for most people because everyone kind of knew. But let me know down below, and also let me know if this season is living up to be better than Coven in your opinion, better than Freak Show, worse than those 2, or worse than the first 2. First 2, in my opinion, will always be the best no matter what. Coven was okay, Freak Show was no, and this one's a little no, a little okay. I'm thinking, oh, I need to address Slender Man. Hello. So they did come out and say that the next season is going to involve the famous horror person Slender Man, Skibble. Now Slender Man's been around the block a little. He's a little old now. However, I think it's awesome because I kind of was inspired by him in a way with my short horror film, which you haven't seen it, I'll remember to link it down below. But the creature in my film, it wasn't really a creature, it was supposed to be supernatural, it ended up being creature and kind of like Slender Man. But kind of looks like him, and so I was kind of inspired by it. So it's cool to see that my cat is so loud right now and annoying. It's cool to see that they are taking inspiration. I don't know how big of a part he's going to have, or if it's like an exact like he's actually in the show, or it's going to be more of an inspired character or something. So we shall see. Let me know how you reacted to that news, because I was personally really excited. However, I was also very excited to hear that Hotel was happening. So, and that's been kind of a letdown in a way, so yeah. Let me know all your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
You will be good to him, won't you?